Good. How about you?
Very good. Thank you. Are you in Texas too?
Yes, I live in Austin.
Oh, I love Austin. Oh, yeah, you work in one
Yeah.
of the fancy places, no?
No, it's not that fancy. It's like a wine bar kind of thing.
Okay, but you did work I think you worked in a restaurant that I liked, no?
Barley swine. Is
Yeah,
that it?
yeah.
Yes.
I love
I
Austin.
Oh yeah. How many times have you been?
So a lot. I used to live in Texas.
Oh, no way.
I
Okay.
used to live in Houston for a couple of years. Then we moved
Oh.
back up to Dallas.
Oh yeah.
And for a while, I worked for almost 2 years. I was in charge of the sales for the entire state of Texas for a company that used to do frozen pizza.
Okay.
Frozen pizza, and then they gave an oven for the people who bought the pizza, countertop. So we wouldn't go to restaurants, fancy restaurants, stuff, but like bars and hotels
Okay.
use the pizza a lot. But because of that, I had a lot of clients in Austin. So when I stayed there, barley and swine, Emerald and Rye, Emmett and
Emmer and Rye. Yeah.
Rye, hot duck. I actually like hot duck.
Yeah. Yeah. Odd Duck is the same
Yeah.
guy as Barley Swine. Bryce
Yeah.
Gilmore.
Yeah.
Great.
I like the style of hot duck, which is like very casual environment.
Yeah.
Not pretentious, right? But the food is very sophisticated, even if they use like simple recipes and stuff. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Very nice.
One of my favorite spots. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like working there a lot. Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate you doing this. I can't wait to hear about. I've always been interested in the TV food world, but before we get to that, I say we just start at the beginning. Like, do you remember what got you into kitchens? How did you end up cooking?
Well, I was a restaurant manager. Like, I grew up in the front of the house of the business.
Like your family was in?
No. I started working in a local pub when I was 16.
Okay.
So I grew up in a small town, 8,000 people town.
Yeah. Wow. And, in Italy, right? Yeah.
Yeah, in Italy, northeast of Italy.
Okay.
And summertime, my parents encouraged me from the get-go as soon as I could to go and find a job because they wanted to keep me out of trouble.
Yeah.
So the first time was actually my dad found me a job, and he put me to work with a friend of his that used to have a construction company.
Okay.
That because I told them I didn't want to go back to school.
Oh, really? Oh, so you were dropping out at that point? Is that what it was?
I was trying to. I was like, it was my first year in high school.
Oh, okay.
I told him I didn't want to go to school anymore. My dad said, like, oh, of course, you can go to work, no problem. So he got me a job in this construction company. Like, I literally would wake up 6 o'clock in the morning to go at 7 to start working up to 4 o'clock. Hot summertime, like shopping, making. So it was a trick to make me understand that work is not as fun. So I went back to school. So the next season, the next summertime, I actually went to work in this pub. So Italy, especially back then, it wasn't like in America where 21 and you get card to drink.
Yeah.
I would go with my friends at 14, 15, 16 years old. That was the age group. We would go to have something to eat and then drink a beer. So that season, I think the owner, they had a patio outside. So he always hires extra people for summer because the space doubled in tables. Oh, yeah. And the guy said, like, hey, I need to hire somebody for summer. I think you would do good. Do you want to try? And that's how I started. And I loved it from the get-go. I remember that time, I think the first month that I worked there, I dropped a tray with 2 half-a-liter beers. Yeah.
Wait, this is at 7 years old?
Oh, forget about it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's, with an early childhood. And so I started working there, and I remember this particular table. It was a table of two sitting outside. It was the first door outside, and I just tripped. And these two stellar, half a liter is more, I think is more than a pint, 16 ounces.
Yeah.
Anyway, half a liter. It was two big ones. The tray went down a little bit, and the two beers just like, oh. And she's wearing a white long dress. And it was, it was summertime. She was so cool about it. I remember, but that's how everything started. I realized that I like the contact with the people. I like the dynamicity. Or the job is very dynamic, very fast paced. Talking to people, and it was a great experience. Also because in the kitchen was the mother of the owner, and she was very cool. Yeah. Well, back in Italy, still right now, economy is not the best. The cost of food is expensive, but also people don't pay them. They don't want to pay them much to go out and have something they can make at home.
Yeah.
No, there is no, in Italy, there's not 20 euro hamburger places.
Yeah. So you have to charge.
There are in the big cities. Yeah. But I mean, I'm talking, this is like, I was 15. So it's like 30 years ago. No.
Yeah.
That old. Oh, I am that old. 13, 25. Yeah, 25, 26 years old. Holy cow. Wow. Seriously? Yes. So I remember her that when I would come in with a ticket, obviously there was all handwriting.
Handwritten tickets?
Yeah. I mean, old school, really. I would come in with an order of French fries, or maybe, I don't know if you ever heard of olive ascolane, is these olives that are filled with meat and breaded. Very typical in Italy, just a snack, yeah. If I would come with an order in, and she would be, listen to this, in the kitchen, smoking and watching TV.
She had a little TV, like a tube TV there?
Yeah, wow. For the downtimes, right?
Yeah.
On the place, you could do whatever you want. The smoking inside, back then, smoking was still allowed inside the place.
Yeah.
No, it was not allowed in the kitchen, but they didn't care much. The guy
who cared?
The son, which is the owner, he smoked the cigar behind the bar.
Behind the bar?
Drafted beer all the time. So anyway, if I would come in with this ticket and tell her I have an order of French fries, she would be like, what? Does your hands hurt? Do they cut your fingers off? That's the freezer. That's the fryer. You do your own French fries. I'm not your slave. And actually, there was like amazing. A push because it actually made me learn also to do things in the kitchen. It was very well known, the place, for the quality of the food. But it was bar food, so we have a bunch of different bruschetta, which now you call them. It's long, and there's 10 different types of bruschetta. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and it went up to number 9, and then the number 10 was bruschetta bomba, which is like a bomb because of spicy salami. It was very spicy. Pepper flakes. Then there was delicious sandwiches, and then they were famous for their hamburger. How do you call the guy from Popeyes? The fat guy from Popeyes that eats all the time, the bald guy?
Oh, I forgot his name. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's called Poldo.
Okay.
And they named the Poldo as the hamburger of the place.
Okay.
It had like a sesame seeds bun, and people would come over just for the hamburgers because it was so good. Anyway, too much.
Was that's an American thing though, right? The hamburger. So like people would come for the American hamburger, or was a hamburger pretty typical as well?
The hamburger is pretty typical. It's way more popular right now. As far as business models,
yeah, of course.
Europe in general tries to copy a lot from America. America is a big generator of ideas that work, right? So nowadays you have more like fried chicken, tacos.
Oh, really? Okay.
Hamburger places are very, very typical. Yeah.
Okay.
But to be honest, like back then it was a little bit ahead of times, but also the quality very good. I had hamburgers myself in Italy a few times, and it was just a disaster. Like they missed the whole concept. The bread was not the right one. They tried to keep it with Italian bread, and like,
oh yeah, that doesn't work.
The meat was a different grind. So now, especially in the big cities, but in general, you try to, there's big chains now. People put money in big chains of American food. There's one, probably the most famous, called Old Wild West. And you go in, there's the feel of a Texas salon bar, like heavy wood, right? And it's completely American food style, like barbecue ribs, hamburgers, dinner platter. I don't know, something maybe like Texas Roadhouse, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
That concept, because, people like something different. And even Italy, yes, you can have some of the best food in the world, but like sometimes people also love to go and eat regular food. So that's how I started. I'm sorry, I took 25 minutes.
Oh, no worries. But wait, I'm interested because you said she would force you to cook the French fries, but then you went down the menu. So like, did you have to take the orders, get the beers, and then go to the back and make the food yourself?
I mean, she didn't. How do you say obligated? How do you say?
Yeah, it wasn't your obligation to.
No. So it was during downtimes when it was not busy outside. And honestly, looking back to it, it was a great lesson. She knew exactly what she was doing. And once you know how to do the food, then you understand also better the flow of the business. And consider that was my first job in the industry.
Yeah.
This place on Wintertown, there was 14 tables inside, and then there's 14 more outside in summertime. Yeah. And that's when I started to work over there. It was a great lesson. So let's say at the beginning of the night, there was only 2 or 3 tables out, and I had a small order. She would tell me how to do it.
Oh, okay.
So rub the tomato, rub the garlic. Best bruschetta, the secret was never tomato sauce, only fresh tomato, and started from a frozen bread. So that's a trick about bruschettas that I'll keep with me forever. And eventually, if I ever open a place like that, that was still some of the best bruschetta, from a frozen slab of bread, cold, rub the garlic.
Oh, okay.
And then slices of tomato instead of tomato sauce. And then the mozzarella on top and the oregano. And that for me was the secret. Sometimes I go and I eat something like that and has tomato sauce and the bread is soggy. And I say, you don't know the trick. So that was a great school. I mean, she was very old school. Her husband too. That's why he couldn't keep people working with him and his ex-wife.
It was too busy. Is that what you said?
No. The guy was a nightmare to work for. Yeah.
But he liked you? Is that what it...
Actually, I left too for a while. But I stayed with him for a long time. I was probably one of the most loyal. For sure, more loyal than his wife.
So, did you drop out of school at that point and you just went full
No.
There was going to school?
Times, and then I actually started working for him also on weekends in the winter, even when I was going to school. Then eventually I dropped out of school. But this was like when I was 18. I was a disaster.
Okay.
School was not for me. The high school I chose was way too hard for my not actually ability as a brain. Like for the amount of effort that I would have to put on studying for keep up with the program, it wasn't for me. But it's a little bit of the problem in Italy. When you choose your high school, it's not really a general education like here. The high school is more like a certain subject that leads you
really?
a certain way. Yeah, either for the workforce or with the college. So like I chose something that was about computers, and then it didn't work. I switched to electrician type of job, but then you can pick if you do chemistry or mechanics. And then there's another high school where they focus more on arts and languages, right? Another one that focus more on traveling and stuff. So I mean, it's a little bit complicated. It's way different than America. But then it wasn't for me anyway. Going back, it's easy to say, I could have gone to a culinary high school. Another thing, Italians don't go to culinary college.
Mm-hmm.
The culinary program is for high school.
Yeah, which
not really
makes
college
sense.
program for culinary.
Yeah.
Once you're done with high school, you start working.
Oh, yeah, everybody starts working. So at that point, were you just like, I'll go into restaurants, or what did you end up doing? You dropped out?
I dropped out of high school at that point. I was 18, so me and my parents, they kept on going until I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, okay, I'm 18. This is obviously not going to work. So basically, it took me 5 years to get on the third grade of high school.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So it wasn't for me, right? But not because I was stupid, just because. So then I started working, and then I don't remember how it happened. My first full-time job was actually at the pub.
That same pub? Or
during summertime, one of his employees completely disappeared. Okay. She was an illegal immigrant, and she got caught by immigration.
Okay.
And he calls me one night during the week, and he says, Luca, she didn't show up. I'm here by myself. Okay. I go home, get changed, go to work. I come in. He has like 12 tables. He's in the kitchen making all the food and all the orders.
Oh, my God.
Okay. I take over. I do the bar. I serve. And then next day, I think he said, Luca, get ready because I don't think she's coming back. We knew she had problems with immigration, and she got caught. So at that point, I just started working there full time. Then I quit school, and I kept with him. I don't know for how long, but it was a good, like maybe a year and a half. And then I started working. I got a job as a place like Best Buy. I was in the cell phone sections. Yeah, I wanted to get out of the restaurant because I would work all weekends.
Uh-huh.
Friends were all like, going out and partying, and I was working. So I got this job, and it wasn't bad. I liked it. And then I left, and then I came in America. I got my first job in Disney World.
Oh, wait. So what was your drive to come to America?
Get out of 8,000 people town.
Okay. Well, you didn't want to go to like anywhere else in Europe or maybe like a bigger city in Italy?
So this is what happened. My sister did a program with Disney World in 1997.
Okay.
And one day we were both home, and she was reading a local newspaper, and there was an advertisement. It was a cultural exchange program in Disney World in Florida. And she said, Luca, this is what I did. She's 7 years older than me. Okay. So she did a lot of things before me. At that point, I was maybe 20, right? And she said, why don't you sign up? Because this was a great experience for me. And back then, I was very, very raw. Can I say raw? As far as being...
Yeah.
I was, a kid. Yeah, I was almost 20, but didn't know much about the world. And then I applied for the job. I went to do the interview, and I did the interview in November in Milan. And 3 weeks later, they told me you're gonna leave. You got a 1-year contract. You're gonna go to Florida in April.
Okay, so what was the job?
So it was part of the food and beverage program. So there was have you ever been to Disney World? Yeah, didn't miss anything. So Epcot Center is one of the theme parks that is divided in pavilions. There's a big lake in the middle. They call it the trip around the world because you go around the lake, and there's like 12 different pavilions of 12 different countries.
Okay.
Germany, Sweden, China, Japan, Mexico, Italy, Canada, USA, France, Germany. So,
were you part of the Italy section?
No, part of Japan.
For real?
No, of course.
Of course. I was like, there's no way they're mixing everybody up there.
No, so the kids, the cool part is that the kids, the younger people that work in each pavilion are recruited from their country. It's very cool. It's very cool. So it gives the opportunity for young kids to get to America, get a regular working visa, and experience working and living in America, which is very cool. Best time of my life. But also for me, it was a big change from an 8,000 people town. So it was a restaurant and the food and beverage program for the Italian pavilion. So they had a kiosk outside where we served glasses of wine, slushes, right?
Slushies? Okay.
Slushies, but
it's not very Italian.
Alcohol slushies. Like we had a Bellini slushy.
Okay.
With an Italian margherita slushy.
Italian margherita, okay.
And it was like $12 a glass.
That's,
a cannoli was $10. 20 years ago, huh?
Would you? Wow, that's insane. Were you front of house there as well?
Yeah. So
okay.
You start at the beginning. You do your training, and in the restaurant you start as a busboy. But when you are at the beginning, you work half of the shift inside the restaurant and the rest outside the restaurant. So outside the restaurant, there was a cart selling ice creams. That was the worst thing.
Okay. Oh.
8 hours standing. I mean, we had an hour break, but we stand there and give this $3 ice cream scoop at the Sicilian cart.
Okay.
The kiosk was more dynamic, was more fun because you had people come and going and, hey, madam, what'd you like today? Blah, blah, blah. Inside the restaurant, you started as a busboy and as a host. So you basically bring the customers to the table, right? You give them menus and go away. And then slowly you start getting the training as a food runner. And then eventually, after a few months, there's a 1-year contract. So there's a natural exchange of service, right? So every 3 or 4 months, there's always some service finishing the contract and some opening up.
Okay.
I was very lucky because there was a big scandal that they caught waiters stealing money.
Okay. What?
Yes, so they got the code of the manager.
All right.
And they would delete the cash tables. So if somebody cash, yes, they would delete stuff going to the bar. There was no control. Then after I started working there, you needed to have a signature from the bartender or the chef. There's something avoided, right? But back then, they could just delete stuff. Also, they could transfer it.
Okay.
It was insane. These guys were stealing thousands of dollars. So a bunch of people got caught. They all got terminated, sent back to Italy. And suddenly the restaurant needed waiters. And I was only there since 3 months.
Okay.
And it was a blessing because they had to make a service right away.
Yeah, so you kind of got to skip all that stuff?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
What?
So I became a server. And
how was that kitchen? Because I can't imagine what that is like.
So, worst food I ever served in my life.
Yeah.
But by far, busiest restaurants I ever seen with my own eyes. As low day was 1,500 covers.
Holy shit! Wow.
Yeah, New Year's Eve served 4,900 people.
What?
That's
insanity.
And listen to this. Open from 11:30 to 9 p.m.
all day long. Yeah.
Yes, but not during the long, after 9. Last sitting was 8:45.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
Wow. So what was the food like?
Well, Italian, very typical Italian. So the restaurant was Alfredo's, the original of Rome.
That's the name of the restaurant?
Yeah. So the Alfredo's started from Rome.
Okay.
The restaurant is still there.
Okay.
The legend says that the woman was pregnant. The owner's wife was pregnant. She couldn't eat anything. The chef made this plate of pasta with butter and cheese. Which honestly, butter and cheese is something that you eat in Italy when your stomach is upset. We call it pasta in bianco. It's the white pasta. You have rice with a little bit of olive oil and Parmesan cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because if you haven't eaten in a few days and you need to put something.
You need something simple.
which
Yeah.
nowadays we know that like eating carbs when you're sick is the worst thing
It's
to do.
really bad.
Yeah, but back in the day, remember pasta in bianco, like either you have a soup or you have a pasta. They call it the light pasta. No?
Yeah.
So anyway, the Alfredo original of Rome then become a thing in America. They say because of that sauce, because of that plate made in Rome. So you have chicken parmigiana, you have lasagna, you have spaghetti and meatballs. We had a platter of cold appetizer with salami, cheese, and meats. I can still do you the spill that we had to do at every table. Good morning, my name is Luca. I'll be your server for today. Welcome to Alfredo. Can I start you with anything to drink? We have wine, beers, slushes for the kids, juices. Take the order, and then you say, just in case you want to start with something very typical Italian, today I suggest you our antipasto all'italiana, a selection of cheeses, meats, all imported to Italy and to share for the table. Would you like to start with one of those? Most of the people will look at you like you're an alien. And no idea. Also, my accent is bad now. Forget it. 20 years ago. I spoke in English. I don't know how I sounded like. But that thing was $25.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Whoa. Yeah, we were programmed, the servers, to upsell.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
If somebody asks you for a glass of water, you ask if they want wine. Somebody asks you for a bottle of wine that is $45, you try to sell the $70 bottle of wine. At the end of every month, there was the standings hanged in the break room.
So you could see who was selling what and how much they made?
Yes, sir.
Crazy.
And depending how much you sold, would have defined how many of the best shifts you would have.
What?
If you were a server and your standing sucked, you will get mostly lunches and maybe a couple of dinners at the beginning of the week.
Okay.
The best servers got mostly only dinners.
And
basically work whenever they want. And it was very cool because you only work 5 days a week. They rarely ask for extra time or 6 days a week. It was very Disney oriented. So also the other best part was that we could request almost every month if there was availability, like if there was enough staff. Every month we could ask.
Oh yeah, so where was your standing in the?
I was pretty good. I was not the best. I was not the best, but I tried very hard. And it was such a sick mentality that you wanted to turn as much tables as possible.
Oh yeah, quick as possible. Just turn.
Yeah, if a table came in and said spaghetti meatballs, there were two people, spaghetti meatballs and lasagna, and just water.
Okay.
When they were eating the pasta, you drop the check.
Oh, really? To get them out of there?
Dare to ask them if they want dessert, risking a complaint, because the customer of Disney's mentality are very complaint aware. They know if they complain, get a lot of free stuff.
Yeah.
But you don't care. You just want to kick them out and try your luck with a better table. And when you knew that when the good table came, you squeezed them out as much as you could. Like you sold them side dishes, extra wine. You make too much money with a bottle of water. Would you like me to just keep bringing the water? Like pump, 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 pump.
Oh, water wasn't free, so you just keep pouring water in.
A bottle of water.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, $8 per table. That make a difference at the end of the. It was awesome. Wow. Listen, 20 years ago, we would bring home $1,200, $1,500 per week.
Wow, just in tips.
Yeah, wow. And we lived in Disney. Our rent was like $350 for a fully furnished apartment.
Wow,
it was a great experience.
So you had a good experience there.
And so imagine this: making good money, working way less than what I would do in Italy, because in Italy there's no tips. You get salary. So the owner of the restaurant is going to hire the least amount of people possible and overwork you because you work a salary, it doesn't really matter if you're doing 10 hours or 12 hours, you're getting the same amount of money. Like in Italy, there was always this saying, when I started hiring people, when I work in another establishment, it says like, you start at this time. Obviously, you never know when you're going to finish. Because it was about sweeping the floor, it was about mopping the dining room, cleaning the bathrooms. Like, there's no busboy, food runners, the porter.
Everybody does all of it.
Because there's no tips. And also the profit margins are way lower than what you can charge here in America. That was the issue, though, for me. That was not an issue because it opened the doors to the rest of the world. But finish the Disney program, I go back to Italy, and here I am after this tremendous year I had in America, traveling, meeting people from all over the world, going back to small town Italy, where like stopped in time, because nothing changed over there from a year, you know? They kept doing the same thing, kept going on the same places.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, what I'm going to do now? And then
where do you go from there?
Like I just start traveling. You know, it was fine when I was back in Italy in summer because summer was still fun. And then as soon like November or October or November hit.
So what did you do? You just started traveling, you said?
The first time, I came back and we actually applied to go back to Florida right away.
Oh, yeah?
But they didn't let us go. I mean, I'm saying we because it was me and one of my best friends. Actually, still my best friend. He's also my best man at the wedding.
Oh, okay. And because what, they don't accept you for a second year or?
No, we were just not good employees.
Okay. Well, you said you were pretty successful there, but they just didn't like you.
Successful as far as selling and working, but I had a few times where I had to work a 5 p.m. shift and I show up like at 7 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Nights were long.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, closing that restaurant down was.
No. It was not about the restaurant because you were out of there at 10 o'clock because last sitting was 8:45.
Oh, you didn't have to like clean, deep clean everything? No?
In Florida?
Yeah.
No, forget about it. Florida was the best job ever. No. No, you go out and party. So think about it.
Okay.
This cultural exchange program, we all used to live in the same apartment.
So it's a big party. Yeah.
1,500 kids from 12 different countries in the world.
Yeah. Wow.
From the age of 18 to 30. Living all. The rest apartment was 2 people, 4 people, 6 people, or 8 people. I can't imagine what an 8 people apartment could be. I was in a 4-bedroom apartment. You had people going in and out, knocking the door every time of the day. We had parties. We had people, collapsing in the middle of the living room. Like you find people in your bedroom that you had no idea who they were. And they were sleeping.
Sounds like college. Yeah, like the typical American college. Yeah,
every day, constantly, because Florida laws 2 o'clock, 1:30 last call, 2 o'clock place is closed. So we all went back to the place, and then security would come around, right? Knock the door. Security would close the party, and everybody would start yelling the apartment number. We were going next.
Go the next one. Yeah.
Goes to the party to the other place.
Yeah.
And then security comes again. And then you start seeing the sunlight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I think it's time to go.
Yeah. That makes sense why you were getting there at 7 o'clock the next day because you'd been partying the whole day or the whole night. Yeah. Yeah. So wait, what did you do from there then? Like you started traveling and
I went to Australia with other 3 friends of mine from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, I was already hooked with the American system.
Mm-hmm.
Australia restaurants, there are tips, maybe like 10%, but it's not really mandatory. It's not mandatory in America either, but it's more of a thing in America, right? So people know they have to tip. In Australia, it was more like England, where you give a tip if you are a person.
You're feeling up to it, yeah.
Usually you get 8%, 10%, but salaries were much higher.
Yeah.
But the system of working was tougher because you had less people in the dining room. And also, this is a honest thing about what happened. I never had like a really training in formal restaurant. Formal? Elegant.
Formal training in restaurants. Yeah.
Yeah, I never really, beside Alfredo Original Rome, but Alfredo the Original Rome was a fast food dressed like Italian fine dining restaurant.
Yeah.
You click the button for a spaghetti and meatball, you went in the past, 90 seconds later it was there. Hundreds of pounds of pre-cooked pasta every day.
And they just heat it up.
Yeah, they just need to put everything together. So it was really a fast food. It was a good experience as far as like pushing, selling, and turning tables. But when I went to Australia, I applied to this fine dining restaurant. It was an Italian restaurant. They liked me because I was Italian. But then I started working. I realized I had no idea what I was doing. I had no techniques. Right?
Oh, wow.
So beside that, Australia was very far. I wasn't making a lot of money. I went back after 6 months.
To Italy?
Yeah. Then I actually worked on base in Aviano, the Air Force base.
Oh, okay.
I used to cut grass.
Okay, so you got out. You're like no more restaurants?
Well, no. I went back to Italy. You know, at that time, you're young. You do whatever you can to make money, right? So that was a good job. It was seasonal. It gave me free weekend working for the American government in Italy. Still now, it's one of the best jobs that you can get. So I cut grass in the flight line and also in the area, whatever areas that we had to. But I still work on I always like to work. So even if I was working 5 days a week, a regular job, then on weekends I would go and work in restaurants.
Okay. So you kind of always had restaurant work.
Yeah. This was actually a 4-star hotel.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Very old house. It was a villa from the 1500s. And they hosted weddings. Hammer time was insane. But then I would work the dining room when there was no weddings. And that helped me a lot because it was a very slow pace, like tasting menus and stuff.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't as crazy.
Yeah, but I learned watching the other people. No, we had like white jackets, white shirt, black pants, like the towel. I mean, the napkin
for the wine. Yeah.
Wow. So, and then I would learn watching the older people, you know. But then imagine this: when it was wedding season, this place was beautiful. It was like an old villa, the pool in the middle. Not brick walls, like rock walls. Very old looks. And we did weddings Friday night, Saturday lunch, Saturday night, and Sunday lunch. 150, 180 people with 5, maybe 6 people in the dining room. But there's no bus boy. Forget about all the rest. No food runners. So it was a set menu, multi-course. Everybody gets the same. You know, weddings in Italy, I don't know if you ever heard about it.
No.
It's a 5 hours thing. Italians make it like, when you go to a wedding, the food needs to be amazing. You want people to talk about it for months to come. In the south of Italy are even worse. People take loans.
To have a wedding? Yeah. Wow.
10, 12 hours courses. It's like, it's insane. So we would do that. I remember clearing the tables. You clear like 10, 12 dishes on top of you because the kitchen was like so far away. As many as possible, right? Because the kitchen was far. But in one weekend, when there was time to get me paid, it was like 45 hours in 3 days. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yeah. So that was a great extra. Also, was all under the table money.
Oh, really?
In Italy, yeah. So it was all tax free.
Oh,
And yeah, in Italy it's awful. It's awful. Like when you're young, you do it because you don't care, right? But then at the end, you say, okay, where is my retirement? You know, they didn't pay.
Oh, yeah.
You don't pay anything. You don't. I mean, medical insurance doesn't work like here. If you are Italian and you are alive, you get medical insurance.
Yeah, so it's not.
There was not an issue. It was more like for the retirement because Italy relies a lot on basically what their social security is, right?
Yeah.
But the Italian mentality is not made into like saving and investments like we have to do here. Otherwise, we have to work until we're like 97.
Yeah.
In Italy, once you reach a certain amount of time, you get 70% of what you used to make in your lifetime.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's not bad. Like Italy, in that point of view, because of the social services, Italy is a little bit of a socialist country. You know, they say it's free healthcare, but you're still getting taxed 35-40% every month.
Yeah.
So, not really free, right? Nothing is free. But the retirement, you know, you work for 41 years. You put down money for 41 years for your retirement, then you go then you retire. The problem is that when you, like, let's say my parents retire almost at 65, I think.
Yeah, so you make what you made when you retired, and that's
so that's a problem because if you go to retire 65 and you die at 95, cost of life gets a little bit into. But usually when people are at that age, they own their home, they own their house. So going back to that, I was in Italy, and then eventually I decided to go to the States because States in America, I mean, the life over there as a server, and I like doing a server. Also, I didn't have a high school diploma. There's not really many other things I could go and do, getting a good amount of money.
Yes. So wait, did you just go, or did you get a visa, or did you just
America?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It was a very common, like in a restaurant. I don't know how things change with immigration right now, but in a restaurant, I would say 80% of workers were illegal immigrants.
Yeah. Yeah. Where did you go? What
New York?
state? You went to New York? Yeah.
Yes. So I decided it was between New York, Miami, and San Francisco. All my friends, they were already in America. They all told me, "You're not a San Francisco guy."
Yeah.
I think you do good in New York. So I had connection, like friends that were new friends. The people, most of the people that were in Florida, they end up wanting to stay in America because it's
it was better money.
Life was much better. Yeah, there were way more opportunities, easier to make money and working less. So
what restaurant did you end up in? What restaurant did you end up in?
So the first restaurant was Remy, which is gone now. It becomes a French brasserie now. Remy was on 53rd and 7th, so middle of Midtown.
Okay.
Venetian style.
Okay.
I got to New York, was a night of November 15. I slept in this guy's couch. His name was Alessandro Piazzo. He owns a restaurant in Key West right now.
Wow.
Yeah, the kid would come home. He had a life. I just got there, so I had no money. I think the first time I had $300 in my pocket. A friend of mine found me a job right away where he was used to work at Remy. I went to meet the manager of the restaurant the next day. Yeah. And I started the day after. So I got in New York 2 days later. I had to work because I had no money.
And the restaurant, it must have been insane. How was that?
No. I mean, it was a busy place. We would work with a lot of tourists at night because it was in Midtown, like near Times Square. In the morning, lunch was all about the business people. It was actually 2 blocks from Lehman Brothers.
Oh, so a lot of stockbrokers and things like that. Yeah.
I was still in the area when Lehman Brothers closed that day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was a nightmare. I was in another restaurant though, but there was like big banks. The CEO of UBS would come there all the time. He had his own table.
Oh, yeah.
Table for it, just for him, Lots
Yeah.
of brokers, like investors, like stock market people.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of PR and social marketing. So we would get also actresses and actors because there was a few big PR agency in there, and that was good. I liked it. It was Venetian style with our
Well,
uniform, with a black vest and a black tie, white shirt.
okay.
The cool thing was all Italians in the dining room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Nice.
And then the bus boys were all Mexicans, 14,
Yeah.
15 years old. They don't speak a word of English.
Oh really? And
Yeah,
then
that made
cooks
me
were
learn a lot about the system, and all they were all related. Brothers,
oh
sisters,
brothers. Yeah,
cousins,
cousins.
aunts.
Yeah.
Forget about it. They do like that.
Yeah.
And I met some kids. I became the guardian parent for the school for two of those because they said the school needs to talk to a parent.
Oh, so you'd be their parent?
Yeah, and their dad would say, like, you don't have to go to school. You need to go to work and make money.
Yeah.
Instead, these kids would come to work at night, go to school during the day.
Wow.
His name was Moses. And I went to high school. I remember in New York City, I was shocked. There was metal detectors in the school.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I went in with him, and I said, like, I'm not his parent, but this kid wants to go to school. He understands how important it is for him.
Uh-huh.
And I want to help him. And the school was very open about it.
Oh, that's great.
Think about it right now is a little bit weird, with all this security stuff. But I helped him for a while, and then he finished high school, and then. But it's actually his cousins, Javier and Enriqueta. They're still in the city. Enriqueta is she was a manager for Momofuku for many years.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, they went up.
Well, I wanted to ask. So at this point, you'd been through all these restaurants. Did you realize at that point that that's a direction, or you just kind of still going on your jobs and
done anything else?
Okay, interesting.
That's the only thing I could have done, especially in America without a visa.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I stayed 6 months. My visa was 6 months. It was a tourist visa. Then I had to go back to America, to Italy. And then I stayed. I kept.
Did you do that? Did you go back to Italy?
Yeah, because you don't want to stay over your visa.
Okay. So
but
did
then
you do that back and forth for every 6 months?
Yes. And then that started to become a problem. First, because it was very
pricey, yeah.
It's pricey to fly every 6 months. You lose your apartment, you lose the job. You have to be lucky to go and work again in the same place. Find another apartment all the time, right? Because you can't afford to pay rent if you're not working.
Yeah.
So in Italy, I had a couple of good experience where I actually had a friend of mine run a restaurant in Italy. He was in the kitchen and he begged me for help because he opened and he had nobody who could take over the dining room. And we turned it around in 3-4 months.
Oh, wow.
We became very, very popular. But it was a nightmare. Eh? Start at 9 o'clock, finish at 12 o'clock, cleaning the bathroom. At 9 a.m., 12 p.m. 9 a.m., 12 a.m., almost every day. And only one day was closed.
Yeah.
But it was a good experience because it also let me, it was cool to take a place that was like doing 6 covers per day and
like help it grow.
And we were doing like 120 per day.
Yeah.
Yeah, with me and another person in the dining room. That's it.
Yeah. Wow.
So with some lunch times, like we would do like 50 people at lunchtime in like 2 hours, just me. And the girl at the bar, because there was also a bar. So people would come in for cappuccinos and glass of wine. But, that's how it was. I wasn't never scared to work.
Yeah.
But that was like a turning point to say, why would I do this? Even if the guy paid me great money.
Yeah.
Paid me a lot of money. In Italy, I could do like that job. But, why? Also, like I finished work in New York. I finished to work at 10:30 at night. I can go out all night if I want. All my friends are out. We go to the club. We go to the bar, right?
Yeah.
Then small town Italy, you work all day, and then it's like People wait Friday and Saturday to do the same things over and over again. They don't go out during the week. They have to go to work. So I was like, maybe it was better if I didn't go out as much. I could be a millionaire right now, probably. Right?
Yeah, but what kind of life is that?
At that age, right? I wasn't thinking about it. I'm fortunate, to be honest. It's one of the things that I try to tell my kids. How important it is to save money, right?
Yeah,
because it can help you. But I don't mind where I am right now. So it was a life experience. I'm happy that I can teach my kids about my mistakes. But that was it. I think that was the last time I was in Italy. I realized, okay, I can't keep on doing this. Yeah. And also the biggest problem was that I think immigration was catching on with some of the stuff. Yeah. So we had more often visits of ICE in the restaurant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, many, especially
ICE would come to the restaurants and check cards and visas and things.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I had a friend of mine that was taken from her house at 5 a.m. in the morning.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
Yeah. So everybody lives in fear of possible deportation, and
you don't live in fear, but you be careful what you do.
Okay.
Like you try not to get into a fight that you're gonna end up in jail.
Oh yeah.
The American system is a little bit different in a certain way. In America, they know there is millions of illegals, right?
Uh-huh.
And the system is made where the government is still going to make money from these illegal immigrants. As an employer, you cannot hire somebody without paper. And back when I was doing this, the employers were not really held responsible to verify, at least as much as not right now, to verify if the documents given were real or not. Now, after that, it caught up a little bit more. Like they would get phone calls and they say, "Hey, your employee has a social security of a woman that is in Ohio."
Yeah.
So there's something wrong, right? But then you would go down in Queens on the street and you would get a new ID and a new social security with a fake name.
Yeah.
So the system was a little bit crooked, but it was very well organized. And at that point, the employer will still pay taxes on you.
Yeah, because it comes from the employer, before the paycheck.
And me, personally, I was hoping that eventually I would get a visa. I always did everything online because I had a real social security from Florida.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I did my tax return every year.
Okay.
I paid my taxes, and that was a good part when I applied for the green card.
Oh, yeah.
Because my tax return were all clear. I didn't have any criminal record. I paid my taxes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's different. You get also worker comp from the employee. In Italy, if you get hurt during the job, forget about it. That's the door. No, it's awful. I know people that broke their legs, like working in construction, they were illegal. And the employer would be just like, go. Tough luck.
Yeah.
Luck.
Wow.
So that was it. Then when I ran this place for my friend, I was like, I can't do this anymore.
So you applied for the green card?
Well, no, it doesn't work. No. That also a few of my friends got deported.
Oh, wow.
Some others got caught at the immigration at the airport. Okay. So when the officer that checks your passport has a doubt, they take you to the immigration officers. Okay. And I call it the land of nobody, because you lose completely every right.
Yeah.
They look into your stuff. They check your phone. They check your laptop. They go over and over. They check all your messages and stuff. And I had a couple of friends that were caught, that they found in old paychecks and their stuff in the computer. And it's like, you said you were coming here on vacation, but you spent, in the last 2 years, you spent more time in New York City than in Italy. How is this vacation? They check your bank account if they want. So at that point, I said, okay, if I go back to Italy, then my life changes completely. So I just overstayed my visa. Very stupid. Very stupid. Something that I don't suggest to anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I have two beautiful kids. I have a great family. Love my wife. We have a house, a dog, chickens. So I can't complain where I am right now, right?
Yeah.
But I got lucky, you know. I got lucky, and also, to be honest, it is a little bit easier when you come from Italy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I never had the problems of immigration. I could speak decent English. I came in with an airplane.
Yeah.
I dress properly. I have good manners, right? I'm not saying that other people don't have good manners, but like I have a presence, right?
There's a mindset about certain countries, and Italy is not one of those
that's a privilege,
countries.
you know. The people sometimes use this word in different ways, right? But I agree with that, you know. If I was from another country and I came into America saying I'm coming on vacation, they would be like, doesn't look like it, right? But because I come from Italy, I'm well dressed, I speak in a certain way, it was much easier. But still, it was too risky at a certain point. I didn't want to risk it, and I stayed. But it's a bad decision because then you're you cannot leave the country. When my grandfather passed away, I couldn't go back to Italy.
Oh, wow.
Other things happened that I couldn't be close to my family. You become like a very big, you know, worry for your parents because they say like,
of course, yeah.
We never see you. My parents didn't come visiting much. I think in 4 years that I was illegal, they came visit only once. And I was in a very weird stage of my life, you know, 25, 26, 27, on my own. I had no directions. I had really no mentorship. I was working with people that were not good examples for me.
Yeah. Were you just working restaurant after restaurant after restaurant, like skipping around? Yeah.
Well, no, skipping around, no, because after a while, you know, I got a little experience and I actually started to become a manager after a while.
Okay.
I liked it, you know. First manager job, I was in a Japanese restaurant. That's where I went, where I met my wife. And I was a server first because I skipped in a few Italian restaurants. And then I was tired of going back and selling the same thing, like branzino, ossobuco, spaghetti with clams, right? So at that point I said, okay, let me go and look for something more exciting. And I went to this Japanese restaurant, and it was like, I didn't know 80% of the ingredients in the menu. And I said, this is where I want to work. It was a great thing. It was actually Eric Ripert from Le Bernardin was the chef consultant.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The executive chef of that restaurant used to be called Geisha.
Okay.
He was Chef Ripert, sous chef for 8 years at Le Bernardin.
Oh,
so the menu was inspired by these Asian flavors with French techniques. There was an exceptional sushi bar. Some of the best foods I had in my life.
So it was a high-end restaurant?
Super high-end. Super high. We had, over there, it was like, and for a while, we were on page 6 almost every day. Actors, actresses, models, even from all over the world. We had a lot of Italian celebrities coming in too, because one of the owners were Italians. Benazir Bhutto had dinner there, and I was the server 3 weeks before she got killed in Pakistan. I served Henry Belafonte and Tony Bennett. They were sitting down with their spouses at the same table.
Okay.
Anne Hathaway would come in pajamas to pick up her to-go order.
To go fancy
sushi. A giant piece.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Anthony Hopkins. I said, you look so much like the guy from Hannibal. And everybody at the table laugh. And I said, you do? Well, you think I do? George Clooney came in once. Alicia Keys used to come in the afternoon only. She wanted the entire dining room for her. She knew we were closed, so she would call in advance and ask if she could get the table. Only one waiter could go in, no busboys, no food runners. She was still nice. I think she was a little bit snobby. So anyway, that was cool. And I was a server first, and then I got the opportunity to become the floor manager, and I thought I was in ecstasy, you know? Like 25 years old, wearing a suit, in a
Oh, you were
very
25. Wow.
yeah. Well, I got
Wow,
lucky because the manager was Italian too.
oh, okay, so he's
They needed a floor manager because the guy disappeared.
uh-huh.
They ran a week without it, and everybody, the other managers say, "You have Luca, use Luca, because I was passionate. Also in that restaurant, I made money like nobody else because I
Wow.
came from the Florida push, and that was a restaurant where you could sell Chateau Lafite at $1,500 a bottle.
Ooh. Wow.
Or Petrus at $2,500 a bottle. We had a Wagyu,
Wow.
16 ounces Wagyu ribeye steak for $350 15 years ago. It came with a side of fried rice with an egg and some bok choy, I think.
Wow.
We could sell a lot. We sell a lot of those.
So did you find yourself having some direction there, or yeah? It seems like you enjoyed it.
I loved it. I enjoyed it.
Were you still illegal at that point?
I was still illegal. Yeah, I had
Wow.
to leave the country anyway.
Uh-huh.
That I didn't overstay my visa yet, but after that I did. Almost. I worked there for a year, and then instead of going back to Italy, I would fly out of the country. So I would go to the Caribbean. I went to DR.
Okay.
The other time I went to Toronto driving.
Mm-hmm.
Then at the officers, you just say, "Yeah, I'm coming back. I'm flying back to Italy tomorrow." And because I'm Italian and because I was on vacation, I wasn't questioned much, right?
Yeah.
And immigration officers ever question. Like they should hire me as a consultant, and I could help them catch people.
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes it's so crazy obvious. So then I became a manager, and I was like, I felt very good with myself. I had no idea what to do. I was never a manager before. And I did follow the examples, and I don't think they were the best. But it took me some time to understand it. And I really understand it only when my wife became my friend. We used to work together, and she didn't like me for a long time. Then somehow when I announced that I was quitting that job, it seems that I eased up on my job manual. She still says that I taught her a lot about the business and service technique and selling and stuff, but my manuals were not professional. But nobody ever questioned or told me that before. Sometimes I surprise myself. I never had any harassment lawsuits against me as a manager.
Oh, you were saying like you felt like you were a bad manager. You were like rude or.
I was.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
well, I mean, back then,
very unprofessional.
There was when I think back about before the pandemic, it was a totally different landscape. You could be, the worst leader, you could be the worst chef, and it just all, would work out for you. I've heard horror stories on this podcast from people, So
I saw them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't mean. I wasn't very professional.
Yeah.
But I mean, then I met Kate, and Kate somehow, even if at the beginning she didn't care for me at all, when I quit the job, we started talking more and becoming friends. And she was actually the first one who told me, "It's like, I think you're a good person and you're a good heart, but what you are doing at work is not acceptable." And I was like, "Oh, why? I thought everybody loved me." She was like,
"Yeah,
nah,
yeah, yeah. You need somebody to tell you, yeah.
People can't stand you. You're doing this and this and this." I still have the list in one of my books.
Oh, interesting.
Things that are like, don't talk about what you did last night. Don't talk about girls in a certain way. Don't drink at work, right? Don't yell at people. Don't curse at people. You can't go around the dining room cursing. And I thought that was the
the norm. Yeah,
yeah. It was like a God gift. How do you say?
Yeah.
So
sure.
that was good for me. It was a wake up call. I changed job. I went to a job still as a manager. It was 2 blocks away. The owner of the restaurant basically poached me. He used to come in and say, "Look, I think it would be great for us." He paid me Back then, I think it was like $600 more than what per week.
Yeah, than the other place.
I was making before. And it was an Italian restaurant. It was Fifth Avenue. I thought it was fancy. I thought it was great. Mm-hmm. And I moved and I hated it.
Oh, no.
I left that place crying, the geisha place, because I loved it. It was like my second home. I was there almost 3 years. Mm-hmm. The owners tried to cap me. Mm-hmm. I was blindsided by the money. Yeah. And it took me 3 months to understand how big of a mistake I made.
Yeah.
The restaurant was not as fancy as I thought. It was actually very bad food. It was very touristy because it was on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah.
And the general manager was awful. And we never got along. And it was like, I got fired after 7 months because of fighting with the GM and the owner. The owner was trying to cover me for a while. He was trying to move me in one of the other restaurants. Uh-huh. And one day I just went off everybody in the meeting. And I said, it's time for you to go.
I was going to say, well, it sounds like that was a good decision, though.
It's a good wake-up call.
Yeah.
Kate and I were friends. We weren't dating yet. It was the first person I called, and we went to my friend's Massimo, who had a caviar bar at the St. Regis.
Okay. All right.
And he treated me to an afternoon of caviar and champagne.
That's a good way to console yourself.
Kate was more in my life as a friend. Uh-huh. And I think that helped me to get in a better position. Found a job almost instantly. Somebody was looking for a general manager on 77 and 2nd, 71st and 2nd.
So you couldn't go back to Geisha? You couldn't go back there?
Yeah, Geisha was closing because the owner of the building of Geisha. Have you ever heard of Serafina? Serafina is a chain of Italian restaurants. They started 30 years ago. Now they have 15, I think, in America, and they also all over the world. They open franchises in Turkey, Tel Aviv, Brazil, Puerto Rico. One of the owners owned the building where Geisha was.
Okay.
But the building next door where they had Serafina that was making 1,000 cover a day, the owner of the building didn't renew they didn't find a deal for the rent. Uh-huh. And Geisha was like not making as much money as Serafina. Serafina is Italian pasta, salad, and pizza. So the profit margin in Italian restaurants like that are insane.
Way better.
Geisha was like very high end. Also, Geisha got hit tremendously in the 2008 crisis.
Oh, yeah. Because no one's spending money, yeah.
Oh, but also, like, half of our customers was like Wall Street people. That's what I'm saying, like, Krug, Dom Perignon, Chateau Lafite, Petrus, Amarone, Barolos. Like, we opened bottles of wine like there was no tomorrow. Uh-huh. And people spend, they bring the clients, and when the financial crisis started, 2008, the place was like a dead, how do you say?
Just ghost town.
Ghost town, yes, that's the one.
Yeah,
it was a ghost town
dead.
for a few months. The owner, one of the owner of the restaurant, put a pacemaker on because he thought he was going to lose everything.
Wow.
But then it slowly catch up, but never as much. You know, people got the wake up call, and it was like, maybe we can spend as much. So beside that, you know, I'm not a guy that goes back.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I don't go back.
Yeah. You know, you move on. Also in New York, you have so many opportunities. And then, you know, I was at that point, I was a decent manager. I became a general manager of this place, very small place, not pretentious at all, owned by an Italian. Mm-hmm. They paid me half in the paycheck and half cash.
Yeah. And
so I became a general manager, very, very neighborhood restaurant. Mm-hmm. We didn't get, but the money was good. I had no pressure from the owners. Mm-hmm. The place was making money a little bit. Then we started the Second Avenue construction in front for the subway, and then Masterchef happened. Yeah. Well, at this point, I got married. Kate saved my life. Kate took me hand by hand, and she said, "Okay, come with me. I'll make you a decent human being."
Okay. How did the MasterChef thing happen? Like, what's that whole process like?
So I watched it on TV. I think one week I was sick at home, and I binge watched it. And I said, "Holy cow, I can do this!" At that point, I was like a manager in the restaurant, 30 years old, like a crisis, because I was tired to work with other people. I had no money to do anything else. I was illegal. Then I married Kate, so I got the green card. Still had no money to do any other business.
Yeah.
I watched it on TV and I say, "Hey, wait a second. Maybe this is something I can do. I can go on TV and maybe something changes in my life." So I applied the first time. You do the open call in New York City. You bring a dish to show them that you know a little bit how to cook. You stand on the line 5 hours, freezing cold, November, New York City. And you kind of do the audition. And again,
what did you bring?
The first time was boiled meat.
What?
They bring something. They say bring something that represents you.
Okay.
It's like a braised short ribs.
Oh, okay, braised short ribs. Yeah.
It's usually made with a very cheap cut of meat.
Yeah.
We made a sauce with it and some polenta, crispy polenta.
Okay. Yeah.
But imagine this: the 65,000 people applying in 1 year. Yeah. My season, 65 people applied. Wow. When you do the open call, people are not really focused on what you can cook. It's all about personality.
Personality, yeah.
It's another time in my life when I was very privileged. It was 10 years ago, 11 years ago. I was probably 30 pounds lighter.
Okay.
I wore a suit because they tell you wear something that represents you. And I wore a suit because I was a restaurant manager. I always wear a suit at work, right? So I wore a Man in Black suit, right? And my hair done, slim, tall, with this accent. I remember the first producer, she was a female. She looked at me like, "Okay, keep talking to me." Seriously, that's what she said. "Keep talking to me." And then she said, she wrote something on the paper, said, "Okay. All right, we'll get back to you." And then she brought 4 more other producers.
Did she even taste the food?
No, there was a culinary producer who tasted the food.
Oh, okay. So separate.
Mostly they ask you, what did you do? When did you buy? What type of meat did you buy? Okay. How did you make it? They want to get a general analysis that you know a little bit, right? But that point is all about demographic. That point is all about personality. And if you look at every show, they pick the firefighter, the military, the single mother, the Indian, a couple of African American, the immigrant story, the single mother, the guy who used to be a drug addict, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They need those stories behind the cast, the story. Like the abused person, the stripper, you know. Like they get stuff like this. So for me, at that point, I was the right man at the right place. I was the only Italian. I had the immigrant story. I loved my family. I miss Italy. I was there following the American dream. So for them to cast me was an easy decision. Yeah. Then you had more time on other stages of the audition to understand if I could cook or not. But at that point, I was in it, you know?
Yeah. So you knew from the beginning that you were going to be in it.
Well,
did they give you a call?
You never knew 100%. But, you know, at that point, from the first time, there were like 5 more steps of the audition. One was a live interview. The other one, you had to submit a video. Then was another interview. And then eventually you got the call. That day alone, you talked to 3 different people.
Wow. Well, so you must have known at some point that if you're going through all these, you have a pretty good chance, right?
Well, no, because at the end they say, okay, you submitted everything we needed. If you get a call, you will leave around the end of January.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't hear from us, you didn't make it.
Really? Oh, they don't even tell you no.
It was a general email to everybody.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, there was only one time, I think, that... Oh, no. Then they called me one day. They said, Luca, you made it. I was at work. Say, Luca,
Wow.
you made it. Yeah. And then I went. The first time I didn't make it, though. I went into the show.
Okay.
I did the audition with the judges in television. This was season 3.
Uh-huh.
And I got only one yes from Joe Bastianich. That time I brought calf's liver Venetian style.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Calf's liver with onion, white wine sauce with fresh parsley and polenta.
Uh-huh.
The dish wasn't perfect at all. I overcooked the liver. At that time, I didn't even know how to do a medium rare, to be honest with you. But flavors were okay. But my polenta, I made a creamy polenta.
Uh-huh.
But then it sat for like 30 minutes. So it was like a clump of thing. I was very unprepared. It's for amateur cooks.
Yeah.
So now I've been cooking for 10 years. I understand a little bit more what's going on. But back then, most of us, we all suck. Like anybody, included me, I'm telling you, included me, anybody who goes into Masterchef, and even a winner like me, you put him in a kitchen of a professional restaurant, it doesn't survive 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's with a lot of those shows. Like the people that are in those shows, they mostly, they don't have that.
For us, though, it's different also because we are amateur cooks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the only show out there where is really talented people, that's Top Chef.
Yeah.
Because those are all professionals. Those are people that are doing it right now. And if they get to Top Chef, it's because they have a background or they have some restaurant that either they made famous or the restaurant made them famous. So that's different. But the rest, think about Hell's Kitchen.
Oh, yeah. I watch it all the time. I love it.
Yeah, if they cast good cooks, who is going to yell at?
Yeah, exactly. There's no drama. Yeah.
And it's like 25 seasons. How can you be so dumb to not go home and practice risotto and scallops, which is the dish everybody mess up? You're going to go to Hell's Kitchen, at least practice those 2 dishes and beat Wellington, because it comes to the show every single time. And they still screw it 25 seasons later,
Yeah, exactly.
For us, we're all amateurs. Nobody really, you can't. The part of the contract is like you cannot work in a restaurant before.
Oh, interestingly. Okay.
Yeah. So it's legit,
Okay.
So
you failed the first time, you said?
Failed the first time.
So Gordon didn't like the calf liver?
So Graham Elliott said no right away. He said it's overcooked. The polenta is weird. And Ramsay was a little bit more diplomatic. He says there's good flavor. I know you can cook, but this is the dish I have to judge you on. This is just not good enough. But go back, keep on practicing. And next time you come back, you're going to be ahead of the competition. And at that point, I thought I was devastated. My friend Jordan Zlansky from the Conan O'Brien show, he took me to Vegas for 10 days.
Wait, you know Jordan Zlansky?
Yeah, good friends. I mean,
way.
Yeah, we used to be. Now he disappeared. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I know he had 2 kids. He's married. Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm obsessed with that guy.
So we met in New York City. We used to hang out in the same neighborhood.
No way.
He always had this. He has a great passion for Italian.
Yeah, he's
a very big passion for Italian. So then he moved to LA because the show production moved to LA. We kept in touch. Yeah. Actually, every time I went to Los Angeles, I even stayed at his place multiple times. But if I wasn't staying at his place, we would go out for dinner. He loves food and wine. So we would go and eat all the time. But now then he got married. He has 2 kids. We haven't kept in touch as much. But so he was at my wedding too. I was at his wedding. I was actually sitting next to Conan at the wedding.
No way. Okay.
Yeah, wow. And got demolished in Dom Perignon. They served Dom Perignon.
That's incredible.
He was at the audition, and
was he a producer on it, or was he?
No.
Or?
You could at the audition. You could invite family and friends.
Oh, okay.
So Kate came over from New York, and because he was in Los Angeles, he came too. They made me a surprise. They flew my mother from Italy for the audition. You need to go and watch episode 3. No, season 3. I think is episode 2.
Okay. Wow.
And I'm in the episode. Yeah, my mother flew. They flew her out. I didn't know. She just showed up. Said buonasera. I was like,
was this on the first round where you didn't get through?
Yeah, season 3.
Oh.
So Jordan takes me to Las Vegas. My wife came with us for 2 or 3 days. Then she had to go back to New York to work. We had no kids yet. We lived in Brooklyn. And then me and Jordan just stayed in Vegas, going out and drinking. And just because I was devastated. Right? And then I flew back.
Did you spend the year cooking to improve? Or
no, this is the thing. I haven't touched anything for months.
Oh, really? Okay.
I haven't touched anything for months. I was like, my ego was demolished, and I did not think I was going to go back. I went and looked for a job. At that time, my resume, my experience was over the top. That I basically did a few interviews. Then I went back to A Voce, which is this Michelin star restaurant, and I say, okay, I want to work with you. I had plenty of experience, and I literally did a few interviews, and I went back to them, and I say, to the director of operation, and I say, like, hi, I'm ready. I want to work here.
And they just
say yes. Yeah. It was Missy Robbins. Have you ever heard of Missy Robbins?
Missy Robbins? No.
Yeah. She's a big chef now. I mean, she's very well known. She's a big... she had 1 Michelin star per restaurant. A Voce had 2 locations in Columbus Circle and on 26 and Madison. Actually, right next door from 11 Madison Park.
Oh, okay.
Building. We were sharing the same building.
Oh, wow.
And she had 1 Michelin star in each dish. In each restaurant. And then she left the Michelin star world and she opened Lilia in Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah, I know that place. I follow that place. It was recommended to me.
Yeah. It was over the top overnight hit. Like the place open, they never see the day or light of the day anymore.
Yeah.
It's possible to get a reservation. Very good Italian food. She was great. She was also, for me, it was a good environment to see. It was like an Italian chef making Italian food in a very sophisticated and different way.
Yeah.
Chef de cuisine also is pretty big. Hilary Sterling. Now she's the executive chef of Ci Siamo, which is Danny Meyer's restaurant.
Okay.
Danny Meyer, is the guy from Shake Shack, right?
Yeah.
Square Cafe, Set the Table is a book about hospitality. He's a guru in the industry. Yeah. And Hilary Sterling was the chef de cuisine. We actually went there for lunch for Easter last year. Amazing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, amazing food.
Was that your first time in a Michelin kitchen?
Yeah.
Was that a huge jump for you, or is it kind of the same quality of
it wasn't the
stuff?
It wasn't the right Michelin star place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were a shit show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the management was not up to par. The sommelier was very good. The wine program was outstanding. Like, if I think about it now, in Europe, that place would never get a Michelin star. Yeah. But not because of the food per se. The food was outstanding. There was the rest.
You're saying the service and...
The service, mostly the service.
Yeah.
The decor. Things changed a bit, maybe. But it was a great place. It was an amazing place.
Yeah.
But I think there's a big difference between 3 stars, 1 star. And I think Michelin stars have changed a little bit, especially in America.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
a little
went to a
more
couple of Michelin
lax.
star places, and it was like, how did you get a star? You know,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
In Italy, even one star. Like we went to a 2 Michelin star in October in Italy.
incredible. Really.
It was
Yeah.
insane. By the
Wow.
service, the wines, the quality of the food, the plating, the techniques. So
Yeah.
it's just a bit different, but that's okay.
It's just
It's part of
different.
the. Yeah, it was still
Yeah.
amazing. I learned a lot, but mostly in the kitchen. There was like Chef Hillary told me many times. She said, "Luca, I've never seen anybody from the front of the house
Hmm.
so interested and passionate about what we are doing here." Because
Hmm.
also to me as a manager, like I would quiz people, the servers and the
Yeah.
busboy and food runners too about the food randomly during meetings.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm not gonna put you in the floor if you don't know the menu. You're gonna make
Yeah.
me look bad. You're gonna make the kitchen look bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, so for me, it was always number one. I learned that at Geisha because also
That's
knowing the menu. So the training at Geisha was insane. You have like 3 weeks of training at the sushi bar. If you didn't recognize the sushi, the fish on the plate, and you
yeah.
could say the names in Japanese and in English, you would not go on the floor.
It's amazing. Yeah. That's the
The
way it should
chef
be.
would like randomly change the position of the fish on the sushi bar fridge.
Oh,
So
just
you
to
don't
test you?
only memorize, only so you don't memorize, right?
Uh-huh.
So anyway, that was a very good school for me. And as a manager, I always made a point, but not as a punishment. Like I would have the chef bring out the, hey, meeting, let's refresh our memory. We have this dish on the menu for a long time. Who can describe it to me? But also for me, it was a passion. I loved selling. So showing them how to do it
Yeah.
was going to improve them and teach them more about selling, quality, how the dish is made, because only there you can be like 100% sure. The worst thing is like you ask a server, I'm allergic to garlic. Is there garlic in this food?
And then they go to the kitchen.
Oh, let
One
me go
second.
and ask the chef. Come
Yeah.
on. Like
Yeah.
that's your job.
Your job is to know everything about the dishes.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You go
Yeah.
to the mechanic and it's like taking apart your car. And so as the other guy,
Yeah.
you're not sure. So it's like there's a big difference. But also in America, it's kind of challenging because servers are not seen as a professional.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a job you do while you're doing other things.
And in New York City, especially, you had actors, people studying to become doctors, lawyers, singers, right? Dancers. But there was a good experience. It was, yes, my first Michelin star. It wasn't what I expected, especially like I had to work to fix the dining room because the general manager was all over the place. She was a great person. She had no skills. And most of the people hated her. And she would fight with the kitchen all the time, which to me, I've seen it in the past. And I've always like, the chef is my boss. Even when I was a general manager, even when I could have done whatever I wanted, the chef was always my boss because people don't go in the restaurant because the manager is funny, right?
Exactly.
People
they come for the food.
First because the food is good.
Yeah.
And you, as a front of the house person, you just need to make sure that you complement the food, the way you serve it, the way it comes out, the way you represent it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So me, I never had issue with the chefs. As a manager, I never had chef throwing stuff on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually, even with Chef Missy Robbins, maybe now she changed because she's more successful and she doesn't. I mean, she was successful before, but now she owns the restaurant and she's super busy. Michelin stars, like these people, they feel like they're always on the judge stand, right?
Yeah,
and
they're always being judged.
How is it you work and you have in the kitchen the picture of the Michelin people, the picture of the New York Times critique? Work your best, serve every single customer at your top, right? That pressure is like an added factor that is not healthy for anybody.
Exactly. Yeah. It's no need for it. Yeah.
You get the chef, and you're followed by nightmares that
Yeah, of
eventually
course.
you're gonna lose it. The worst thing, like,
Having a star and then losing it.
worse
Yeah.
to lose it
Yeah,
than to get
exactly.
it, right? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
the two things have like such a different effect, but it was good.
Yeah.
But I was still in the process of. Eventually, I got the call if I wanted to apply again.
So, oh, really? So they call you? It wasn't.
It was time of auditioning again. Said Luca.
Okay.
Chef Ramsey said, "You remember?" Chef Ramsey said,
"Oh wow,
to audition again."
Oh, do you think it's okay? All right.
I said, "Oh, I don't know. Let me think about it. I need to talk to my wife." Right?
Yeah.
And then when I put down the phone, I was jumping 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
I was happy. But that, so I was working. The place was up. It was closed on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I was coming in 10:30 in the morning and closing the place Monday to Friday.
Wow. Yeah.
And Saturday afternoon, we would get there at 2 p.m., get ready the dining room, and then work the dinner service. So I was working 6 days a week, something like probably 60 hours, right? So when I decided I was going to apply and go to Masterchef again, I asked the HR if she could give me a part-time.
Yeah?
So like, no, this is the restaurant industry, Luca.
Yeah. There's no part-time, especially at a Michelin place, right?
And it says like, I'm working a lot of hours. So either you give me a part-time, it's like, Luca, we can't do that. And I left the office. I called my wife. I said, can I quit? She said, sure, go ahead.
Okay.
I walk back in and I say, hi, I'm going to send you my resignation letter. I'll give you 2 weeks. And then decided what to do, right? So I need to practice. So I look for a server job.
Oh, really?
And then with my resume, I'm looking for a server job. That are looking like, are you crazy? What's happening over here? Are you not kidding us? I said, well, I need something more flexible because I need to practice. And I remember forever the director of operation, a French guy. I mean, it was a shock for everybody because they just hired me maybe like 4 months before.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. It was like the chef, Missy Robbins, she told me, she's like, you had no idea how much I cursed you out when you were.
Oh, yeah.
The director of operation, a French guy, short French guy, said like, I do not understand your decision. Going on television. I mean, you are a age that you should think about your future, and not just try to go and get these things. They're fake.
Yeah.
Well, I said, I have dreams. I'm gonna follow them.
Yeah.
So then I went to work as a server. It was a Gazenvort Hotel on Park Avenue. Actually, in the meantime, I think I changed a few. Once I went to, this guy was called Andrew Moore, I think. Commerce Street Cafe. No, Commerce Street Restaurant.
Okay.
American Modern. I was a server. These people have no busboys.
Oh, no. Yeah.
And they share all the tips.
Uh-huh.
Everybody made the same money.
That was new to you?
Food runners, busboy, bartenders. It was new to me, yes, because I worked in a place where the more I sold and the more I made money.
It was all your tips? Yeah.
Yeah. No. We shared it, but in percentage of their job.
Oh, okay. Okay, this was all
in this place, everybody made the same.
Uh-huh.
And there was no busboy. It was insane.
Yeah.
I still don't understand how they structured that. But people worked there for years. They liked it. Set the table, get the order, bring the drinks, bring the bread, clear the plate, anyway. So there I didn't last much because I was bringing in like thousands of dollars a week in tips, and going away with like everybody else. Which, I mean, it may be fair in some restaurants. It wasn't my style.
Yeah,
I wanted to make more money, and I knew that I could make more money.
Yeah.
So I kept on looking for another job, and then I ended up at the Gazenvort Hotel. Best time of the year was December.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When people
Super
are
busy.
traveling, right? Yeah.
Company parties.
Yeah. So
Like we did
were you practicing cooking on the side? Were you
in
yeah,
the
just like
morning.
in the mornings? Okay.
Practice every. Well, I got to do my schedule,
Hmm.
so I got to do whatever. Like I asked them a certain type of schedule, and then when I was not at work, I was practicing.
Okay.
I would do everything. I would go to the fish market. Oh, I never cooked an octopus. Let me try to cook an octopus. Then I would go home.
Oh, okay.
I would look up in the internet. I baked a lot because I wasn't really good about pies and cakes.
Hmm.
I baked a lot, and that's it. I tried as much as I could. I practiced, and then I went to work. I sold.
Yeah.
I'm very proud. I worked there for 3 months, and all 3 months I won the wine contest.
Dang,
I
yeah.
sold more wines than anybody.
Nice. And so did you have to redo the whole audition process? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but it was
Okay.
a little like it was a note on my board. So I remember one of the producer coming in, looking at the board and said, "Oh, you're Luca. Okay, nice to see you."
Okay.
So they pushed me to the steps. Yes.
Okay. And
I mean, they
did
knew
you
who I was.
yeah,
They
yeah,
knew
yeah.
I was good on TV. I had a lot of like very good positive feedbacks
Hmm.
from, social media really liked me.
Yeah.
After my first audition that I didn't make it, social media liked me a lot.
Okay.
So that was a good thing, and the rest is history.
So what's the actual show like? Because it looks like I mean, how often are you cooking? Is it like it's like a gauntlet. It's like just every day is
It's
something
only
new.
it's only 3 months. It's less than 3 months actually. We got there on January 22nd, and the finale was April 6th. But the first 10 days you don't cook much. There's a lot of like interviews and wardrobe decisions and stuff.
Oh,
Then you
really?
start
Okay.
filming. Now the format of the show changed a lot. Before there was like 100 people auditioning in front of the judges.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went in, I did my audition. This time I brought broccoli rab ravioli,
Okay.
a pecorino cheese sauce, butter and pecorino. It was good. It's not perfect, but it was good.
Yeah. And
So
did they
we
all
could,
say yes?
no, Graham said no. He was right. The sauce was over salty, but the ravioli were beautiful. Green, bright green filling. Pasta was good. But, you never know how much is show. You never know how much is. But MC
Yeah.
made it feel like I was going home, and then
Oh, yeah. Tricked
gave
you.
me. Yeah. So we cooked 45 times.
Ooh. What's the actual cooking process like? It seems like is it really that stressful? Is it really like 45 minutes or whatever and then you're done? Wow.
Yeah, 60, whatever you say in TV is that. So yesterday I actually saw a thing on TikTok of one guy that went to Cutthroat Kitchen on Food Network.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy, they said that the chronometer wasn't really real because they stopped many times to get different shots.
Okay.
And also, they said everybody knew in advance what they were getting.
Okay. Interesting. But that wasn't how
I'm
it was for
wondering if
you?
even Chopped is the same thing. I have a friend who went to Chop last week. I'm going to ask him.
Yeah. I imagine each one's pretty different, right?
Yeah.
But for
But
you, it was
Masterchef,
not like
we had
that?
no idea.
Huh.
We had no
Okay.
idea. Mystery boxes, elimination challenge. We had no idea what was coming up. We did have cooking classes once a week. So we cooked
Interesting.
6 days a week was filming.
Wow.
And sometimes you wake
Good
up
job.
at 6 o'clock and you finish at 10 p.m.
Yeah, that sounds like a restaurant job. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as hard because
Yeah.
most of the day you spend standing around waiting, right?
Uh-huh. But
But
wait, there was cooking
time is
classes?
there's cooking classes because at the end of the day, more the show goes on, and they don't want to have idiots in they want to have people at least capable to do certain things, no?
Yeah. Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
true.
Because
Yeah,
after a while, Masterchef is the you know the race to make these home cooks become chefs.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they want you to do a little bit of preparation. But let's be honest, if you don't go on MasterChef, if you didn't take it seriously the months before going into the show, you're not gonna survive. And it was shown. Like one guy was not good at making pie crust, and he left because he never practiced making pie crust.
Huh.
One person had no really skills about anything in particular. They all leave the first or second episode. There's a natural elimination,
Yeah.
right?
If you're
So
not capable of
me
doing it,
and
yeah.
other people, like some other people were talented and had experience because they were very good home cooks. Like, for example, Christy, that nobody really liked on social media, but she was a great home cook because she was a single mother and she's been
Mhm.
cooking for her family for a long, long, long time. So in many, many things, she was different than me and better than me. But I had I never had training in a kitchen, but I had eyes on professional kitchens for
Yeah,
15 years and very
exactly. Yeah.
fine dining kitchens.
Mhm.
So that helped me a lot
Yeah, of
because I
course.
could remember I got ideas from restaurants. I did a black sea bass with a cauliflower puree and sauté shiitake mushroom. There was almost with a miso glaze, which
Mhm.
was a mix of three different dishes that we had: a geisha, the black cod miso. There
Mhm.
was
Yeah, you
a
had the experience from seeing all these
right.
things. Yeah.
So the process was real. The cooking
Mhm.
classes was just to get a general education. Everything was
Yeah.
very
Okay.
basic. We never knew why we were practicing certain things. After a while, we realized that some things that we practice,
Mhm.
they eventually came out on the show. But nobody
Okay.
told us when, nobody told us get ready for this. But also we had a lot of free time in the kitchens when we were waiting for the interviews. So you cook for 60 minutes, then there is the judging process. The judges eat, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And then after that, you go and do the interviews.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
While you wait your time to do the interviews, you have a different, separate kitchen where you can practice. And
Okay.
that shows, I think, at the end, how many people are just sitting, listening to music, watching, reading a magazine
Oh, instead of practicing? Yeah.
instead of practicing. And that, at the end of the day, showed a lot. Especially me, I think, because I was very eager to learn. We had chef from
Mhm.
the culinary team. There was 45 people working just on the culinary team for MasterChef.
Wow.
And many of them is actually the culinary producer of the same people of Top Chef and
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
MasterChef Canada, MasterChef Junior. Most of them, especially the one in charge, they used to work with the Ramses in restaurant.
Oh, yeah. It's all part of his team,
And he
right?
put them over, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that was it. 45
Yeah.
challenges. I had some up and downs during the season.
Uh-huh.
Very real. Nobody tells you what to say, what to do. 60 minutes on
Yeah.
the clock, 60 minutes on the clock. And I think I really wanted it more than anybody else.
Yeah.
I
Well,
really,
yeah.
I fought for it. And
And you ended up winning, right?
yes, yes,
How did
yes.
that feel? Like to
It
go through
was
that whole
great.
process.
11 years ago. This year will be the 11th. It was
Wow.
great. The finale, I made pensier foie gras,
Ooh. Okay.
served on a brioche toast with a peach chutney
Mm-hmm.
and pickled peaches.
Mm. And that's what won it for you.
Now that's the appetizer. The main course
Okay.
was braised short ribs,
Mm-hmm.
the tamarind and balsamic glaze with sunchoke puree, sauté mushroom, and a watercress. And the dessert was a basil panna cotta with tomato jam and mascarpone honey cream.
Damn. Yeah, you went from just serving in restaurants to like making like high end quality food.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, it helped me a lot to,
Yeah, of
I've
course.
seen the basil panna cotta in other places.
Mm-hmm.
But what made me do the dish is like Chef Ramsay said, when you think about the menu for the finale, we want to see you on the plate. We want to see something that represents you.
Yeah, yeah, of course. He's
And
really big into that.
the foie gras, the short ribs were some of my favorite things ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things that I would eat at the restaurant. But the dessert was like, I took what is the mozzarella alla caprese, so tomato, mozzarella,
Yeah.
and basil, right?
Mm-hmm.
And turn it into a dessert, mixing
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of ingredients, but keeping. There
The
was no
core of that.
mozzarella cheese. I used the mascarpone, which is another Italian cheese,
Mm-hmm.
and basil and tomatoes in a sweet way. So
Yeah.
it was a wow factor for the judges for sure. It looked amazing. It tasted good. After a while, I couldn't make the tomato jam anymore. I didn't think it tasted good. But after you make because after the show, I started the catering with dinner with Luca,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody asked me.
Just wants you to do that. Yeah.
Everybody want to ask me the same things over and over again. And the short ribs, I still make them. They're still amazing.
But no, not that dessert.
The panna cotta, I don't do it anymore. First, it's very time consuming. I changed it. I improved it. I make a tomato gel instead of the jam now. So I do just like a puree of tomatoes with powdered sugar. And then I don't know if it's agar-agar or something. I think agar-agar.
Oh, yeah, fluid gel? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fluid gel? Yeah. Huh. Okay. So is that what you've been doing? Have you been doing that since MasterChef?
The catering?
The catering and, yeah.
So I had to adapt a lot after the show. I actually never went to working in the restaurant anymore.
Yeah.
For a few months, I thought I was going to become a chef. Then I started my own food truck in Houston.
Okay.
The Lucky Fig.
Uh-huh.
It was a disaster.
Was that your first time on a food truck?
First time working on a food truck. I thought it was going to be like a launch pad for a restaurant.
Mm-hmm. And it can be. It is a lot of work.
Business concept was just bad. The menu was more like an Italian cafe than Italian truck.
Mm-hmm.
Polenta fries, meatball sliders, homemade pastas. I had the sandwiches. So I had ciabatta bread for a short rib sandwich with homemade pickles and coleslaw with hoisin.
Yeah.
Then I had a pork belly sandwich with a chicken liver pate, carrot mousse.
Okay.
And pickled red cabbage.
Were people into this? Like, would you pretty popular?
The Facebook page and the Yelp pages are still open with the reviews. Yeah. There's only 5-star reviews.
So what made it a disaster then? Was it just the work of it?
Too expensive. My food costs, labor and food cost was over the
out of control. Yeah, yeah.
Like when we went to do events and food festivals and concerts and stuff, we would park out next to a bunch of other food trucks, and the hamburger, the tacos, the chicken and waffles.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
Those are the line outside.
Yeah.
I was serving like $12, $14 sandwiches.
Yeah.
And
now is affordable, but back then,
$16 spinach pappardelle with braised lamb shank.
That sounds great. Yeah, but it wasn't selling.
Delicious. It was selling. Was not selling enough.
Yeah,
the ups and downs kill me. I did weddings. I did like $20,000 weddings with the food truck.
Mm-hmm.
5 courses meal. 5 courses meal from the food truck.
Wow. Geez, yeah, I've done those sort of caterings before. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So it was making money, but not enough to be sustainable. And every time there was a hiccup, like if the truck broke down, if I lost 2 or 3 days, then I was going under. But mostly, to be honest with you, I was never home.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
My oldest was like 20, maybe almost 2 years, 26, 25, 26 months. Valentino was 6 months. I never saw them. I never saw my wife. And I was like, the truck was not making money. I tried to change the menu. I bought mozzarella sticks, frozen.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Fried pickles. And then when mozzarella sticks became my best seller, I said, that's it.
Yeah.
I didn't start cooking to serve stuff. Yeah.
To serve frozen mozzarella sticks.
So I closed it. I closed it December 31st. My wife was crying. I was the happiest. We lost money. Like, it was up and down. Like, of course, I won $150,000 with Masterchef. I paid $110 in taxes in New York. Mm-hmm. Then I got into the food truck. We lost $100,000 in 1 year.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Well, so 2 years after Masterchef, I'm $100,000 in debt.
Yeah, geez.
And then you just, what do you say? Pull up your sleeves.
Yeah, get to work. Yeah.
To work. And, try to learn from your mistakes. That's, it's very cliche, right? Everybody says that. Mm-hmm. You need to learn on your own mistakes.
Exactly, yeah.
That's when you work. You can't people tell you don't do that. It's not going to work.
No, you have to do it for yourself.
I've done it. It didn't work for me. You're making it. No. When you learn it in your skin, then maybe you have a better chance to make it a lesson.
Yeah, and this business is full of lessons that you have to learn for yourself, hard lessons, So
it's a tough business too,
Yeah, it's very tough.
I mean, kids come to me, they write me on social media, Luca, you inspire me. I'm 14 years old. I want to become a chef.
Great.
Like, well, make sure you think about it. Mm-hmm. Because people go in and then don't really know what it takes,
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Emotionally and physically, for sure. But so what have you been doing since? What's the
the Kate at the beginning after the show, we got a lot of jobs just because people reach out, hey Luca, so you Masterchef, we would like you to be the brand ambassador, we would like you to be our guest at the booth at the trade show, we're doing cruises, we would like you to be the celebrity chef or the guest chef. Mm-hmm. So jobs kept on coming in and out, and at the end was good, but also not good because 1 month I could be traveling and running all over the place, and then 3 months got nothing. So it wasn't really sustainable. I was probably spending more money than what I was making. And then we did the food truck, and then after the truck I got the job with this company in Texas where it was selling pizza, and it was good. I liked it. Again, sales is always my favorite.
Your strong suit, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And less than 1 year, I opened 120 accounts. Some of the biggest hotels and restaurants in Texas were actually using our product. In Austin, I had the JW Marriott.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So then I liked it, but then COVID happened and the daycare when the kids went closed. So my wife stayed at home for 4 years with them when they were younger, and I said, okay, it's my turn.
Okay.
And, my wife had a good job. Mm-hmm. She worked remotely, and then I tried to build something else, trying to stay at home. Mm-hmm. And that's when the social media popped up more, I was always honestly a little bit late than anybody else. I didn't see it. When TikTok came out during COVID, I wanted nothing to do with it.
I think most people felt that too, but
now I regret it a little bit because
I think you're doing great.
Nothing before.
Yeah.
and they just boom because of that. But my Instagram is not bad. I have 240,000 followers.
Yeah. No, it seems like you're doing fine.
That gives me a little bit of business. But right now, like, there used to be a time where companies reach out to you to work.
Mm-hmm.
Now companies have partnership programs in place.
Mm-hmm.
When you reach out, they make you fill out a form.
Yeah, I've heard about this. Yeah. Yeah, you have to be a brand ambassador or like a partner, right? Yeah.
If we are interested, we get back to you.
Yeah.
And maybe they send you some free product, and maybe they send you a link where you can make 20% off if you sell anything, right? Uh-huh. But the business changed completely.
Totally different, yeah.
So then everything changes, so you need to be able to adapt and figure out what works for you. And now I have a couple of companies that I work for, and I started a small tour operator business where I bring Americans in vacation in Italy. We had the first tour in October. We have another one in June and another one in October. So that's I put two things together that I love: Italy, traveling. Actually, three things, and making money. So I get paid to bring customers, in vacation to Italy. I vacation with them.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And the main goal this 2024 is to launch the line of knives.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And my blog with the recipes and YouTube.
Oh, cool.
As you know, I do the online classes, and that's a blessing for me, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know if that thing changes. I'll be in serious trouble. So,
I think you'll be fine. Yeah.
Over the years, I was able to adapt. Every time there was some ups, some downs.
Yeah.
I found a way to make it work.
Yeah, I think you'll be just fine. I mean, going over your story, you came from working at a pub at 16 to Disney World, and here you are doing this. Also, on social media.
People don't know this, but my full-time job is actually stay at home with the kids because we homeschool. So, I have to feed them. I have to give them a tea, jumping from the bed. I make food for them.
That's amazing.
I clean the house. They help me clean the house too. Now I hire them once a week. Laundry, right? Yeah. So I take them to soccer, to basketball, to horse riding lesson, to play with their friends.
Yeah. So you're a dad on top of being all this other stuff.
Which I love it. It's incredible and it's a blessing. My wife has a great job. She works from home most of the time. So we are in a very good position. We find a good balance. I think I like to stay home more than what she does. So sometimes, I say it's okay if I don't have millions of followers.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, life is made of stages.
Yeah, of course.
This stage right now, I feel very privileged to be home with them.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, as we wind down, I guess you said you have a couple things coming up this year. Is there anything that people should be on the lookout for?
Yeah, come to Italy with me. That's a great business. So we go on vacation, 10 days in Italy.
Okay. So how can people find that? Is that on your website?
That's italywithluca.com, yes.
Okay.
italywithluca.com. I do it. They can find the link on my social media on Instagram.
Okay.
It's a 10 days vacation, and we land in Venice, and then I take them to the places where I grew up, which is a part of Italy that people usually don't choose to go on vacation because it's not very well known. So I'll take them to a place of Italy that is maybe not as known.
Wow.
But also,
you just eat and drink and travel and
completely worry-free. You don't have to worry about anything. We take you everywhere.
Yeah. I think that there's a couple other chefs that are doing that, and I think that's the next evolution of vacation, right?
Is that I organize everything.
Yeah.
But you're right. I had a couple of people. There's Turissimo. There's an agency called Turissimo that they only do it in bicycle tours.
Okay. chefs on
Who are
bicycles. Okay.
the chefs on bicycles and people who are passionate about cycling.
Mhm. Okay.
They go around Italy and do it.
Okay. All right. Well, we're at almost 2.5 hours, so I think
I told you I talk
we'll leave
a
it
lot.
there. Yeah. No, it's great. All right. So, what's your social media? And
They find me Luca Manfé.
okay.
It's very cocky to say, but just Google me.
Okay. I'm sure.
Google
Yeah.
Luca
That's
Masterchef. So
what I
it's
did.
Luca
And you.
Manfé on
Yeah.
Instagram. That's
Yeah.
my main. This Facebook too and TikTok is Dinner with Luca because there was already a Luca Manfé. From there, from the Instagram bio, you can see all the
links and stuff.
All the links, yeah, for all the products.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Luca, for telling your story. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you.